And thank you so much for joining me this morning. I know how challenging time is at this stage, so I'm glad and I'm always appreciative that you can make it for our coffee chats. I've already finished my coffee because it's been that kind of morning, so I hope you enjoy yours, and I'll get another cup hopefully at some point. I'll just start with just a few kind of what's on my mind here as we move into fourth marking period. And of course, we're coming in with this last marking period. I can't believe we're in fourth quarter. We are, and we have a number of tests that are coming up for our students in different populations. And this is just a really interesting time because of all of the end of year assessments that begin to happen right about now. We have the state testing, that is Mcat, that's English literacy, algebra, government, and I'm missing one, and MISA, the integrated science assessment. And those will happen starting next week, and then we pause and it'll come back to them at the end of May. And so you should start receiving, or should have received, some information regarding that testing. It impacts certain populations of our school, 10th graders primarily for the English or the ELA, the language arts MCAP that's happening next week, our algebra students for the math, and then our science, because we're still catching up a little bit from COVID. That's going to be some 10th, but 11th graders who will be taking that test. And the government test, if they're sitting in government, that's who will be taking the test. And so it is a little disruptive. And because we are testing big groups of students, with the exception of the math test, we do have some delayed openings coming up next week, and then when we return to the MCAP testing in late May. And so those schedules are posted on our website. And essentially, we have the students who are primarily testing in the building. We use all of our staff to help proctor exams. And then the rest of our students who are not testing will come in a little later. We adjust the schedule to have first through fourth period one day, and sixth through eighth another day, or some variation thereof. So please look for those changes. If your student wants to come to school, at the regular time, the buses run at the regular time. And of course, we'll have a location for them to do a study hall while we're testing, but the testing is big enough that it does impact school operations during that time. And so that's just to give a little explanation as to some of that. And then the other testing that's coming up is our AP testing that occurs the first 2 weeks in May. And we have a number of students who are involved in AP testing from 9th through 12th grade. And so we try to make sure that our kiddos are prepared for that. We do it here locally at Wooten, and we also use University of Shady Grove. We are one of the larger testing administration schools. So we give over 3,000 tests during a 2-week period. And so that's why we partner with USG, and they've been so wonderful to us to have that really nice space for our students to take the test. We try to be mindful of our younger test takers in 9th and 10th grade and have some of those more locally, and try to mix that up a little bit in terms of which students are going to USG to take the test, and when we're able to offer the test here. But quite simply, because we have so many tests, it does become a challenge if we try to have them all here to accommodate them all at Wooten. So you should have received and should be receiving lots of information about that. We do, if a student is involved in testing on a particular day, they do not have to come to school either in the morning or the afternoon to prepare for the test. They are exempt from or excused from school that particular day. And students have a variety of responses to that. Some decide to come, others decide to stay home and just kind of relax or prepare for their test, or use that time differently. And so that's what's happening in testing land at Wooten High School. And in addition to that, of course, as we've talked about before, we also have a number of end of the year kinds of celebrations and end of the year closing activities for students, and you will be receiving different information about opportunities for those events over the next month or so. It's really a lot for our seniors, of course, but there are a number of activities that is whole school. So we're busy and we end the year with a bang. And so I'm sure, and it's also pretty awesome that we're back and being able to, again, to do so much of what we have traditionally done. And so with that, let's see, impacted, it looks like I looked on the website and didn't see it. Okay, yes, it should be up there today. And so I'll make sure by the end of the meeting, we have that posted, but I know we were working on getting that up on the website. Are there any other questions around testing before I move on? I did have a couple questions that came through. And please feel free to put any questions in the chat or unmute. There's a smaller group today, so please feel free to unmute if you have any other questions. All right, so the first question is about our senior picnic, and it's the senior picnic is scheduled for May 6th at 5:30, and there are sports teams, so the seniors are unable to attend. In the past, the picnic has been scheduled during the day. Can I give any insight into why this changed? And the sports schedule has been posted since late summer. Was this not checked when planning the picnic? I realize we can't accommodate it, but this does affect a lot of seniors. You're right. It does affect a lot of seniors. If I can add a little clarity to this, we have always had our picnic after school because all of our security and staff members chaperone that event. So we've never had our picnic during the day. It's always been around that time in the evening. However, what is different about this year, and we've tried to coordinate schedules, but quite frankly, we've had a little bit more of a challenge this year because of COVID and because when we've gotten the green light that we actually can have the senior events and activities. So yes, the athletic calendar went forward. We were in a bit of a pause to confirm that we can have some of these events, and that calendar did overlap. What we're trying to do to address it is to extend the time, and we've had in the past, unfortunately, this conflict. And so we've tried it in the past, and we're doing again this time to extend the time for the picnic so that the students who are involved in the sporting activities will be able to come to some portion of the event. And we're also trying, we know that there's one that's a little bit later on that would impact that we're trying to see if there's anything we can do to accommodate that. So I know I haven't given you a specific answer, but we did reach out to Smoky Glen to see if we can extend the time that we're there so that we can make sure that our seniors who are participating in sports teams can be part of it. But we're also seeing if some of the later events, if there's any wiggle room for that. I do apologize. We are trying to do a lot and accommodate a lot in a year that's been like no other, and having some later start times, if you will, in terms of what we're actually able to pull off and when we're not. So I do apologize for that, and we're going to do our best to make sure that our seniors who are involved in the athletics program have some time to be at the picnic, because we do know how important these events are at the end of the school year, in particular for our seniors. So that's one question. The second question is, can I please address how the school is addressing rumors and supporting students disturbed by the news of rape and assault by someone who appears to be at Thomas Wooten High School? No need to share privacy or interfere with investigation, but parents need to know how teachers and school officials are responding to student comments, assumptions, or rumors. Thank you for that question too. You're absolutely right. There's as in the news, there's quite a bit going on with the student who has the student in the charges that were filed. We have been, because it is an ongoing investigation, as you noted, we have been doing more on our work with our counselors to check in on students and to check with students that we know that have experienced trauma, and by hearing something that has happened in the community that would have an impact on them. So we are using our counseling resources as a way to check in on our students. As always, if your student is having any kind of response or really having a hard time with this, I encourage you to reach out to their counselor, reach out to their administrator so that we can connect to resources. Because of the nature of the investigation, at this point, we are doing it individually as we're connecting with students that we know that may be impacted by the trauma of this news. And so I hope that I also enlist your help to make sure that you are talking to your children as you do, and making sure that you have a clear understanding of what some of those concerns are and what impact it is having on them so that we're able to address it. Let's see, there's a question in the chat. As we plan vacation time for the summer, do you have dates in which sports practices starts and tryouts, specifically for the current JV upcoming? Yes, so we had a meeting yesterday regarding our rising ninth graders, and I'm going to pull that up because I don't want to misspeak. The date for tryouts this summer, excuse me, should be right here. And we're going to post this presentation on our website as well. We had a joint presentation. It was fabulous last night with the PTSA. And we went through some new student orientation for rising ninth graders. And the first day of fall tryouts is August 10th, 2022. And they must have a physical, proof of vaccination, or medical or religious exemption. And all of our information can be found on our Wooten website. The fall sports registration begins. That's still not been determined yet, but we will have that date for you soon. But students should be back in town so that they're able to do their tryouts on August 10th. And again, we're going to post this on our website, and I believe all of the sports information is on our website, and it should give you that date of August 10th for tryouts. And sorry, Mr. Shapiro, I missed your question. Can you clarify who will be taking the Algebra 1B test? Yes, those are students who are currently in Algebra 1B. If they're enrolled in Algebra 1B now, they will be taking that test on the 26th and 27th. And we're going to administer that test during the regular school day because we're able to do it that way. And so the way the test is structured, they'll need 2 days to take it. Does that make sense? Okay, so that's who's taking that test. Let's see. And yes, please be back August 10th. That is the fall sports, and that's when we'll begin that. All right, I think I'm caught up with questions in the chat. I can't believe that. I'm usually not that great with the chat. And the questions that came in advance. And so if there are any other questions or anything that you'd like to talk about, please feel free to unmute or put it in the chat, and I'm happy to answer. Let's see, will students who missed the government or algebra test because of COVID last year be required to take them as a graduation requirement? Oh, that's a great question too. We had a Mcat testing in the fall, and those were for students who, because of testing last year, or because we did not have testing last year, that they test this year. So this is actually our second administration of Mcat. And so if your student did not take that test in the fall and they weren't identified, or they were identified as needing to take the test, but they did not, they will be included in this spring administration because they do have to sit for the exam. And so we're doing all of that work now, cross-referencing to make sure that all of the students who were impacted last year who should have sat for the exam, or students who are currently in those classes and need to take the exam, that they're able able to do so in the spring administration. But we were pretty successful in getting to the majority of the students in the fall that needed to take the test. But you should receive specific communication from our testing coordinator, Ms. Walker, if your student should be involved in spring testing, in the testing that's coming up next week and at the end of May. My junior kid is looking for summer internship. Could Wooten help us to find any chance? Who am I going to talk with? Oh, that's another great question. We have Miss Margaret Bro. She is our internship coordinator. She is a great person to talk to. Any kinds of positions that are coming in or any opportunities, we coordinate through her. So she would be a great person to see if there are internship opportunities for you. If your student is involved in AOIT, yes, I'll put it in the chat. If your student participates in AOIT, you can also reach out to Mr. Paul Turner. They have a requirement to do an internship, and they can also help, and he can also help as well. Let's see, I think I missed you. Okay, I heard that Wooten used to have A day, B day. To me, there are a lot of benefits because of homework balance. I'm sure there are pros to this current model as well as any chance to go. You know, that's a great question too. We have used an A day, B day schedule in certain, like we're using them next week, where we'll have 1 through 4 and 6 through 8. I don't recall in my memory of being here that we've had A day, B day as a regular routine, but I'm curious about that. I think that over COVID, that schedule taught us a lot of lessons in terms of just, being able to alternate it. And so I think that would be something I would like to know a little bit more about. On one hand, it's really great to give that relief for homework and testing. There is some implications in terms of how much seat time and trying to figure that out instructionally. And I know that there are a couple of schools that operate on a 90-minute block schedule, but we've only done it in special situations. So I'm curious if that would be something that, students and staff would like to return to. It went over well in those special situations. I'm curious if it was a regular event, how that would work.
Yeah, to me, there's lots of benefits about it. I think it's just so much healthier for the kids. I know it would be a huge change for Wooten, but yeah, I certainly would be happy to help work on that if that's a possibility.
Yeah, I'm going to write this down because we do have over the summer when our ILT, we look at our schedule. Oh, I'm getting the thumbs up there. We look at our schedules and seeing how we can, what changes we can make to make it a better. And I think we've learned a lot, quite frankly, coming back from COVID and trying to return to a schedule that is, seven classes and a lunch and an advisory every day. Yes, to your point. And so I think that I think we need to put it on the table to figure out if this is something that we could actually, consider, because I do think there are a lot of benefits to it. Block scheduling works very well for middle schoolers at Loiterman. Okay, all right, very good. Yes, thank you. Georgetown University offers a variety of summer programs and different to prepare for college interested instead of an internship. Thank you, Mr. Shapiro. Absolutely. Yeah, I think there are a lot of, to wrap up that discussion, yes, we'll look at that over our summer planning to see if that's something that we want to talk about more or see if we want to implement in some way just to see where it is. And we'll probably do a survey about it just for the kids too. Thank you for that. For summer programs, since we're bringing it up, we do have our Summer Institute, and then MCPS has a regional summer school. I would define the two. Summer Institute for us, it's more enrichment, and it is more of, for our rising ninth graders, for example, there's, the courses around Jumpstart. And then we have enrichment about learning how to take AP if your student is taking a first AP class. We have a whole array of classes for helping our rising 12th graders with college prep, from writing the essay to filling out the application. So we try to do more enrichment, try to do more of those kinds of soft skills, if you will, or for our juniors, rising seniors, to get them ready for college. But there are a lot of really great opportunities in this community at large, because we're so close to the district and Virginia, all of the areas to be able to do internships and things of that nature. And so if you are interested in that, this is definitely the time to start looking and seeing what your student is interested in and seeing what kinds of great experiences they can have for a few weeks over the summer. And I think I have all of the questions again. Are there any other questions or any other comments and things that are on your mind as we wrap up this year? I can't believe we're saying that. I see you there, Mr. Rabin. How are you this morning? Didn't know if you had any comments or anything you'd like to share with the group.
Oh, I'm doing well. Hi, everyone. As Ms. Bolden said, we had a great presentation last night for rising ninth graders, and we had a great presentation on Tuesday night. We had somebody who joined us for two speakers who came and gave a great presentation on the transition to college. And you would think it's for seniors, but it really talked about in the younger grades, preparing our students for real life skills that they're going to need as they move off to college and they're to be independent adults. So if you weren't there for the presentation, please feel free to find it in our YouTube archives. It's on the Wooten PTSA website, and you can find the YouTube channel and see that presentation. It really was good. And as Nikki stated in the chat, we have all of our recordings. So we know that everyone is very busy and can't always attend when we have the presentations, but we want to make those available to you. So we do record all of our presentations, and they're always available on the YouTube channel. And do want to let you know that we have one presentation left, one meeting left in the school year. As Ms. Bolden said, it's hard to believe we're kind of down to the end of the school year, fourth quarter. So our presentation is going to be, that one will be more targeted to those students that are working on college essays, preparing their college activity list, and getting ready to apply to colleges. So that we have a great speaker from Power Hour Editing that will be talking about how to put together the best possible resume. So hope that you join us. Also, we have quite a few PTSA positions that are open. We have elections in May, and we could really use the support. We have folks that are rotating off, and as you know, we can't do any of the work that we do for the Wooten community without the support of excellent volunteers. So we appreciate any volunteers, any amount of time that you have available. We would appreciate that time. And there's some executive board positions, VP1, VP2, treasurer, and recording secretary positions that are open. We also have other positions that some are just by event, such as the graduation bus coordinator. That's a single event that we need somebody to support. Or we are looking for a fundraising chair and membership chair and other positions. So you can find all those positions on the Wooten PTSA website. And we hope that you or somebody you know might be interested in supporting PTSA. We do a lot for the school. We support our teachers through teacher appreciation. We provide teacher and student grants. We do fundraising activities, and we have lots of events that we co-sponsor with Wooten, such as the college fair, that we started doing every September, and we're planning to do that again this coming September. So, we appreciate any amount of time you're able to give. Also coming up is we're putting together a post-prom event, and we'll be looking for volunteers to help out for that. The hours are 12 a.m. to 5 a.m. So we know that's a hard time to find volunteers, but we are looking for volunteers. We also need any support with funding and prizes. So our goal for that event is to make sure that our students have a fun and a safe post-prom, so that they, rather than doing some other activities, they're coming to post-prom at Bowl America and they're having a great time doing fun things. We give away a lot of fun prizes, try to keep our students there throughout the evening so that they're there through the end of the event. And so we do appreciate that support. We're trying to get a link out soon for PayPal link for everybody to make any donations they have. But if you have any prizes that you'd like to donate, please let me know and we'll be happy to accept those. So I'll turn it over to Ms. Bolden as I see some more questions in the chat.
Oh, thank you, Mr. Rabin. And again, thank you so much for jumping in and and always being a partner, and then with the additional asks as well. We can't do this without all of our support and all of the support of the PTSA. So I'm very appreciative of all the events, and they're done very, very well. So any support our parents can give to the PTSA, that is awesome. In the chat, I'm seeing a lot of sharing of resources. That's awesome. Thank you so much for putting the information in about different opportunities for the summer and the links there. I really appreciate that. Okay, well, it is 9:30, and if there are any, just a couple. Oh, thank you very much. I really appreciate that. Yeah, we're trying, it's a great community, and there's always a lot going on, but I am so appreciative of, all of our staff and our parents, and we do have a really great community, and we try to work towards that in all that we do. And I do thank you very much. Oh boy. All right. Well, I will stick around. I don't want to take any more of your time. I do appreciate your coming in and spending this morning with us, or part of the morning. And as always, if there are any questions or anything that comes up, please don't hesitate to let me know. I will say this, and Ms. Kobe, you reminded me of this. We have our ILT meeting, instructional leadership team, and there are opportunities. I'd love to have some parents be part and have that voice on our instructional leadership team meetings. And so I think you already volunteered, Ms. Kobe, but if you're interested in sitting in, that is where we plan for the upcoming year, and we take on some pretty, some areas in our school that we want to continue to work through and tease out. And so I do look for a few parent volunteers to sit on that committee. It's a week in July. It wouldn't be every day, but definitely some areas that we would love to have some parent input. And so I would like to just extend that invitation. And if that's something you're able to do and spend some time here at Wooten, we're a great group to work with. I'd love to have you because we do take up things, areas like the schedule and just trying to figure out that right balance. So if that's something you're interested in, please be just send me an email so I can include you on that information as we begin to plan for that. And yes, Mr. Shapiro, I agree. There's just been great involvement by the PTSA, and I really do think that all of the presentations have been excellent this year, and the resources and just being able to hit the right tone in terms of what it is that our students need and parents need to provide resources for all that we do. So again, kudos and great shout out for the planning that goes into to coordinate all of the PTSA meetings and the topics that come up there as well. All right, well, with that being said, I'll stick around for a little bit longer. I hope you have a great afternoon and weekend. Thank you again for coming to this talk. Have a great weekend. Thank you. I will call you and I'll include you on that one. Thank you so much. Bye.
Ms. Bolton?
Yes.
Is there, I'm sorry, I'm not turning my camera on. Is there any way to find out if my daughter actually took the government test? She took AP government last year as a ninth grader.
Okay.
And I have no recollection of her saying she took any sort of testing in the fall.
Okay. Probably because if she took AP government, do you know if she took the test?
Yeah, she took the AP government exam. She got a 5. I don't know if that counts
Then
for.
she's exempt.
Okay. Because my older son took AP government, but still took the, well, I guess they took the testing before they got the scores back. So.
Correct. Yes. So we excluded any student who took AP government, took the test and scored well enough that they don't have to take the Mcat exam. So that's why she would not have been included.
Okay. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Have a great afternoon.
Bye-bye.
All right. I think that's it for today. Thank you, Nikki.
Thank you.
Thank you, Brian. I hope you all have a great weekend.